Welcome, dear friends, to a gentle journey through 140 quiet, fascinating facts about Jujutsu Kaisen, a world born from the imagination of Gege Akutami, where cursed energy whispers through hidden corners, where ancient traditions linger in the shadows, and where flawed, heartfelt characters navigate fear, friendship, and destiny beneath skies heavy with unseen spirits. Tonight, we'll drift softly through the origins of this beloved story, the quiet inspirations behind its themes, the delicate threads that shaped its characters, and the subtle ways it has echoed through readers and viewers since its first appearance. Like wandering through a dim hallway lit by flickering lanterns, we will explore the quiet mysteries, the gentle artistry, and the warm human moments that breathe life into a tale often surrounded by darkness, yet illuminated by compassion, courage, and connection. And now, take a slow breath in letting your shoulders loosen, letting the weight of the day settle into stillness. Feel your body soften, your thoughts gently untangling, as if someone has opened a window to let in a cool, calming night breeze. This is your time to rest, to drift, to let the world grow quiet around you. And if you enjoy wandering through soft stories like this, you're welcome to subscribe and gently tell me where you're listening from tonight. So let us begin, slowly and peacefully, with the very first facts, letting each one guide you deeper into the quiet of the night. Fact 1: Jujutsu Kaisen began as a quiet idea lingering in the corners of Gege Akutami's imagination, long before it reached the hands of readers. The earliest seeds of the story formed from the author's fascination with unseen emotions, those heavy, unspoken feelings people suppress until they seem to take on a life of their own. Instead of shaping a world of loud battles, Akutami envisioned one where negative thoughts drift like shadows and where characters gently confront the burdens that follow them. From this soft foundation grew a universe where sorrow, hope, and connection quietly intertwine beneath the surface. Fact 2: Before Jujutsu Kaisen existed, Akutami created a smaller work titled Tokyo Metropolitan Magical Technical School, later known simply as Jujutsu Kaisen Zero. Though short, it carried a calm, contemplative atmosphere that resonated deeply. This early story explored how loneliness and longing can shape a person, gently influencing the world around them. The emotional softness of that tale became the quiet heartbeat of the larger series. What began as a short expression of grief and attachment slowly expanded into a universe where every character carries a tender, human reason for why they move through the world as they do. Fact 3: Akutami has often described their inspiration as a blend of personal observation and quiet moments spent reflecting on how people cope with fear. Rather than creating a universe defined solely by conflict, they imagined a world shaped by the subtle currents of human emotion, those trembling thoughts that linger at the edge of the mind. The curses in Jujutsu Kaisen gently represent that idea, manifestations of unspoken feelings, the echoes of sorrow and stress. Through this symbolic lens, the story becomes less about fighting and more about tender exploration, how each person learns to face the heaviness within themselves. Fact 4: The concept of cursed energy grew from the simple idea that every person carries emotional weight. Akutami imagined that if unkind thoughts, worry, and lingering sadness had a physical presence, they might drift like soft, dark fog around the places where people dwell. This energy, in the world of Jujutsu Kaisen, becomes something that can be shaped, guided, or soothed by those who understand it. Instead of being purely ominous, it represents the quiet truth that emotions, when left unspoken, can influence our surroundings. In this gentle view, cursed energy becomes a mirror of the human heart. Fact 5. Akutami has shared that they are deeply influenced by traditional Japanese folklore, but not in a harsh or frightening way. Instead, the stories of old spirits, wandering feelings, and subtle supernatural presences inspired a dreamy sense of wonder. They imagined beings formed not from terror, but from the accumulated emotions of everyday life. Tiny worries, passing fears, or memories that linger too long. Many elements in Jujutsu Kaisen quietly reflect this folklore heritage, offering a bridge between old tales whispered through generations and the modern world where emotions still ripple softly beneath the surface. Fact 6. When building the foundations of Jujutsu Kaisen, Akutami wanted a world that felt familiar yet gently heightened, something like stepping into dim twilight after a long day. They envisioned an atmosphere where characters carry invisible burdens, yet continue forward with quiet resilience. This subtle emotional landscape became more important than any structured mythology. Instead of rigid rules and ancient prophecies, the story's origins lie in the simple tenderness of human feeling. Each element was crafted to evoke calm reflection, inviting readers to see their own struggles mirrored softly through symbolic characters and the delicate, drifting presence of curses. Fact 7. Akutami's early drafts placed great emphasis on the contrast between light and shadow, not just visually, but emotionally. They imagined characters standing between these two states, neither fully consumed by darkness nor untouched by it. This gentle balance became a defining feature of the series. Light represents hope, compassion, and connection, while shadow symbolizes unspoken sorrow and burden. Jujutsu Kaisen's world quietly breathes through this interplay, offering a soft reminder that even in difficult moments, small glimmers of warmth remain. This emotional framing shaped the story's earliest form, guiding how characters would eventually grow and interact. Fact 8. The setting of Jujutsu Kaisen was intentionally crafted to feel quiet and grounded, even as supernatural elements softly weave through it. Akutami preferred familiar spaces, school hallways, quiet streets, ordinary rooms, mixed gently with hints of the unseen world. This contrast allows the extraordinary to feel intimately close, like a faint echo behind a closed door. Rather than overwhelming the senses, the supernatural presence rests lightly over everyday life. This soft blending helps create the calming, drifting atmosphere where emotions become almost tangible, and where characters navigate both the visible world and the subtle feelings hidden beneath it. Fact 9. Many early concepts for the story began not with large scale ideas, but with small, quiet character moments. Akutami has mentioned being fascinated by how people express affection, fear, and longing, sometimes in the gentlest ways. They built the world of Jujutsu Kaisen with the intention of exploring these emotional gestures, even when wrapped in symbolic supernatural elements. The early sketches often focused on posture, gaze, and subtle atmosphere rather than action. These tender beginnings shaped the entire emotional tone of the series, reminding readers that its heart lies not in spectacle, but in compassion and reflection. Fact 10. When choosing a tone for Jujutsu Kaisen, Akutami gravitated towards stories that mix melancholy with hope, those quiet tales where characters carry burdens yet continue to seek connection. This gentle emotional contrast influenced every early decision, from world building to character design. Akutami wanted readers to feel a soft sense of companionship with the characters, as though walking beside them through dimly lit corridors where both uncertainty and warmth linger. This subtle atmosphere became the foundation upon which the entire series grew, a world where emotions ripple softly, shaping destinies in ways both tender and deeply human. Fact 11. Gege Akutami grew up surrounded by stories, quiet, lingering tales that shaped their imagination long before Jujutsu Kaisen existed. They often speak about absorbing narratives, not for excitement, but for the subtle emotions hidden within them. The stories that moved them most were those where characters struggled softly, carrying inner burdens with quiet dignity. This gentle influence helped form Akutami's creative voice, inspiring a world where feelings drift like shadows and where even supernatural elements are rooted in human experience. Their journey as an artist began not with grand ambition, but with a quiet love for storytelling's emotional whisper. Fact 12. Before working on Jujutsu Kaisen, Akutami experimented with many small ideas, tiny fragments of characters, soft sketches of expressions, and faint outlines of worlds that never fully formed. These early attempts were less about creating a masterpiece and more about learning how to translate emotion into shape and line. Akutami often drew late into the night, letting intuition guide their pen. These quiet practice moments eventually shaped their ability to convey tenderness even in darker themes. It was through this gentle, persistent exploration that their unique artistic voice emerged, carrying both vulnerability and calm strength into the stories they later crafted. Fact 13. Akutami has shared that their parents supported their artistic curiosity, offering gentle encouragement rather than pressure. They allowed creativity to develop at its own peaceful pace, giving space for imagination to breathe. This nurturing environment played a quiet yet meaningful role in shaping Akutami's path. Instead of rushing toward a goal, they were able to drift through their influences, absorbing the emotional depth of films, manga, and folklore. This slow, contemplative upbringing fostered the reflective tone that Jujutsu Kaisen would later embody, a tone that feels grounded, thoughtful, and quietly observant. Fact 14. Many of Akutami's artistic inspirations come from manga with somber atmospheres and introspective themes. Rather than mimicking these works directly, they absorbed the emotional rhythm, the slow turns of thought, the quiet tension under the surface. This feeling became central to Akutami's creative philosophy, that even stories filled with supernatural elements can hold a gentle, human heartbeat. Through this approach, their art carries a softness that contrasts with darker imagery, creating a subtle balance. This blend of introspection and delicate expression eventually became the quiet signature woven into every panel of Jujutsu Kaisen. Fact 15. As Akutami refined their craft, they became fascinated with expressions, soft glances, slight smiles, and the tender ways characters convey emotion without words. They often studied people in everyday moments, watching how feelings ripple through small gestures. This attention to subtlety shaped their character designs, allowing even the strongest figures to carry traces of vulnerability, and even the most troubled ones to hold hints of warmth. This gentle observation became one of Akutami's greatest strengths, enabling them to create characters who feel both symbolic and deeply human, each one shaped by small, delicate emotional truths. Fact 16. When Akutami first began creating storyboards, they focused more on atmosphere than structure. Each page was crafted with the intention of guiding the reader's emotions gently from frame to frame, like following a soft lantern glow through a quiet night. They believed that mood could be just as important as plot, allowing scenes to breathe with subtle tension or calm reflection. This approach helped shape the ethereal feeling of Jujutsu Kaisen, where even intense moments have a drifting, contemplative undercurrent, and where silence often says as much as dialogue. Fact 17. Akutami has mentioned that their creative process often involves letting ideas sit for a while, resting quietly in the mind before being shaped into something concrete. This gentle patience allows emotions to mature, softening and deepening over time. Many elements of Jujutsu Kaisen originated from these quiet periods of reflection, where themes, characters, and concepts slowly blended together. Rather than forcing inspiration, Akutami allowed creativity to flow naturally, like water settling into the curves of a riverbed. This unhurried rhythm became an essential part of how they crafted a story filled with emotional nuance. Fact 18. Early in their career, Akutami faced the same uncertainties that many artists feel: the quiet fear of not being good enough, the worry of whether their ideas could truly resonate. Instead of pushing those feelings aside, they allowed them to exist, seeing them not as obstacles, but as companions on the creative path. These tender uncertainties quietly shaped Jujutsu Kaisen's themes of self doubt and resilience. Through this emotional honesty, Akutami learned to embrace imperfection, letting vulnerability become a soft but powerful thread woven through the story's characters. Fact 19. Akutami's editors have shared that the author approaches storytelling with remarkable humility. They often seek gentle feedback, hoping to refine the emotional texture of each chapter rather than chase perfection. This collaborative spirit helped Jujutsu Kaisen grow into a balanced work, shaped not only by Akutami's vision, but by quiet conversations, shared reflections, and the steady support of those working beside them. These behind the scenes exchanges added layers of warmth and clarity to the series, helping its emotional foundation become even more grounded and heartfelt. Fact 20. Despite the series' intensity, Akutami maintains a soft, introspective mindset, often joking lightly about their own uncertainties, while still approaching each chapter with care. They see themselves as a student of storytelling, always learning, always observing. This gentle humility keeps their works open to evolution, allowing the emotional tone of Jujutsu Kaisen to grow more nuanced over time. Their journey is not one of loud ambition, but of quiet dedication, an artist steadily shaping a world where fear, hope, sorrow, and connection drift together like tender reflections beneath a calm night sky. Fact 21. In the world of Jujutsu Kaisen, cursed energy arises quietly from the emotions people try to hide: the tension tucked behind a smile, the unease that lingers after a difficult day, the soft ache of worry that settles deep in the chest. Akutami imagined this energy as a gentle shadow following each person, shaped not by malicious intent, but by the simple truth of being human. It is the emotional residue we leave behind, drifting softly through living spaces. In this sense, cursed energy becomes a symbolic reminder of how unspoken feelings quietly shape the world around us. Fact 22, cursed. Energy flows through individuals like a slow, unseen current. Akutami envisioned it as something that pulses quietly beneath the surface, influenced by mood, thought, and memory. When someone is frightened, the current shivers. When someone is calm, it smooths. Sorcerers learn to recognize this subtle rhythm and guide it with intention, almost like shaping breath during meditation. This gentle imagery makes the concept feel less like a weapon and more like an extension of the mind's quiet landscape, a reflection of the emotional patterns that drift through each person's inner world, softly shaping their connection to everything around them. Fact 23. The idea that curses form from accumulated negative emotion stems from Akutami's fascination with how feelings linger long after experiences pass. A sorrowful memory can drift like a faint echo. A moment of fear can settle like mist. In Jujutsu Kaisen, these lingering impressions take gentle symbolic form as curses, not to frighten, but to express how deeply emotions shape the spaces we inhabit. While curses in the story may appear threatening, their origins are tender reminders that the human heart leaves traces everywhere, especially in moments when pain or uncertainty feels too heavy to carry alone. Fact 24. Sorcerers in Jujutsu Kaisen are not simply fighters, they are quiet interpreters of emotional residue. They read the subtle atmospheres of places, sensing where worry has gathered or where sorrow has quietly taken root. Each sorcerer becomes a sort of emotional caretaker, guiding and dispersing the energy that has grown too dense. Akutami designed them to represent the gentle act of acknowledging pain rather than suppressing it. Through this symbolic role, sorcerers become mirrors of people who help others navigate difficult emotions, offering presence, understanding, and quiet resilience in the face of lingering shadows. Fact 25. One of the earliest concepts for cursed energy was tied to the feeling of walking into a room and sensing that something is off, a subtle heaviness as though unsaid words linger in the air. Akutami wanted to explore that quiet intuition, the way humans naturally sense emotional residue without fully understanding it. Cursed energy became a symbolic expression of that familiar experience. Instead of treating it as something frightening, Akutami framed it as a gentle mystery, the soft, unseen echo of the moments people carry with them, a reminder that emotions leave traces even when no one speaks them aloud. Fact 26. Akutami once described cursed energy as the shape of the heart when no one is watching. This poetic idea guided the emotional tone of the entire series. When people are alone, their quietest thoughts rise to the surface: worries, hopes, regrets, lingering tensions. Rather than letting these feelings vanish, Jujutsu Kaisen imagines them gathering softly, becoming something that sorcerers can sense and interact with. This transforms cursed energy into an intimate reflection of inner life, a gentle metaphor for the emotional atmosphere that surrounds each person, shaped by the delicate movements of the heart. Fact 27. Cursed techniques, the abilities sorcerers use, were designed with a symbolic purpose rather than just spectacle. Akutami wanted each technique to feel like an extension of the sorcerer's emotional landscape, shaped by personality, past, and the quiet rhythms of the mind. Techniques become expressions of inner truth, how someone thinks, what they fear, what they cling to, and what they long to overcome. This approach gives every ability a soft narrative weight, transforming combat into something more reflective. Each technique whispers a story about the person using it, revealing fragments of their heart through gentle symbolism. Fact 28. The idea of domain expansion came from the simple thought that everyone has an inner world, a quiet space shaped by memory, emotion, and imagination. Akutami envisioned domains as symbolic manifestations of these inner landscapes, brought forward with clarity and intention. Instead of being built from aggression, they represent the most honest expression of the self, unfolding like a dream made visible. This gave domains a poetic significance, a place where a character's inner truths surface gently, showing what lies beneath their outward composure. In this way, domains become calming reflections of identity rather than just displays of strength. Fact 29. Cursed objects, scattered through the world of Jujutsu Kaisen, were inspired by the notion that emotions sometimes attach themselves to belongings. An old toy, a worn photograph, a forgotten trinket. Akutami imagined these items subtly absorbing the feelings surrounding them, becoming gentle repositories of memory. Over time, the emotional weight might settle too deeply, creating a symbolic echo of the person who once held them. This concept adds a soft, melancholic layer to the story's artifacts, reminding us that the things we leave behind carry more than physical presence. They hold fragments of who we were in quiet, lingering ways. Fact 30. The gentle core of Jujutsu Kaisen's supernatural system lies in Akutami's belief that emotions deserve acknowledgement. Instead of treating fear or sadness as something to eradicate, the story suggests a softer approach, that these feelings can be observed, understood, and guided. Cursed energy becomes a metaphor for emotional honesty, and sorcery becomes a tender act of recognition. Through this thoughtful design, the world of Jujutsu Kaisen becomes a place where emotional depth shapes every corner, inviting readers to see their own inner world reflected softly back at them, like moonlight shimmering over still water. Fact 31. When Akutami first began sketching the students of Tokyo Jujutsu High, they focused on creating characters who felt grounded and quietly human rather than extraordinary or overwhelming. Their earliest designs emphasized small emotional contrasts, eyes that held gentle worry, postures softened by unspoken tension, and expressions that carried traces of kindness beneath layers of uncertainty. Akutami wanted viewers to feel a sense of quiet familiarity, as though each student could be someone met in a hallway or beside a classroom window. This tender realism shaped the earliest forms of the cast, anchoring the entire world in emotional authenticity. Fact 32. The students' uniforms were designed not just for practicality, but to create a soft visual rhythm when characters moved. Akutami imagined fabric that swayed gently during quiet moments, adding subtle motion to scenes filled with tension or introspection. The muted colors were chosen to evoke calmness, blending seamlessly with the story's atmospheric tone. Even small design choices, collars, hems, textures, were shaped by a desire to create an environment where characters felt at ease, their silhouettes gently balanced against the series' darker themes. This thoughtful simplicity allowed emotional expression to remain the quiet focal point. Fact 33. Akutami believed that each character should have a gesture, something soft and consistent that expressed their personality without words. Early notes included small habits like adjusting sleeves, avoiding eye contact, lingering near windows, or touching objects lightly. These subtle movements helped define emotional landscapes long before dialogue was written. Akutami saw these tiny gestures as anchors, allowing the audience to feel the characters' inner rhythms. Through these gentle details, the students of Jujutsu High became more than designs. They became people whose quiet habits reveal the tender spaces between thought and feeling. Fact 34. During the earliest planning stages, Akutami considered giving each student a symbolic motif tied not to power, but to emotion. These motifs were imagined as gentle metaphors: warmth, stillness, drifting light, quiet resilience. While not all of these early ideas survived into the final version, they shaped the emotional palette of each character. Akutami later explained that thinking of characters in symbolic terms allowed them to write with softness and depth, allowing emotional arcs to unfold naturally. Those early motifs still echo through the cast, reflected in their quiet strengths and the delicate ways they connect with one another. Fact 35. The idea of teamwork in Jujutsu Kaisen was shaped by Akutami's appreciation for the subtle ways people rely on each other. Instead of creating a cast defined by dramatic differences, they wanted relationships that felt quietly supportive, moments where characters share glances, soften their voices, or step closer without thinking. These understated interactions were designed to reveal slow growing trust. Akutami believed that the gentlest bonds are often the most enduring, and so the students were written to form connections not through grand gestures, but through steady companionship, creating an emotional foundation that carries warmth through the story. Fact 36. Akutami's early concept for sorcerers included the idea that each one carries a private emotional burden, shaping how their abilities manifest. Instead of portraying them as fearless or invulnerable, Akutami imagined individuals who walk a quiet line between strength and fragility. Their roles were less about dominance and more about understanding the emotional residue of the world. In these early sketches, sorcerers had soft, reflective expressions, as though always listening to an inner hum of memories. This tone influenced character development throughout the series, grounding even the most powerful figures in tender human vulnerability. Fact 37. Akutami placed considerable importance on the eyes of each character, believing the eyes should carry the emotional weight of their stories. Some were drawn wide, hinting at quiet curiosity; others softened at the corners, reflecting empathy or restrained sorrow. The earliest sketches emphasized gentle detail, subtle shading, soft highlights, faint tension beneath the lashes. Akutami often said that eyes reveal truths that characters cannot speak aloud. This belief guided much of the artistic direction for Jujutsu Kaisen, helping every panel feel intimate, as though the reader were glimpsing the delicate inner world each sorcerer carries. Fact 38. In early drafts, Akutami experimented with different character dynamics, searching for combinations that created quiet emotional harmony. They noticed that certain characters felt more natural when paired together, not because of contrast, but because of subtle resonance. A thoughtful character might steady someone impulsive; a gentle personality might soften someone stern. These emotional balances helped shape the early structure of teams and friendships within the story. Akutami wanted each pairing to feel like a soft echo, two individuals whose inner worlds vibrate in ways that help each other grow, creating gentle pathways toward connection. Fact 39. Akutami initially planned for the teachers of Jujutsu High to feel like warm, steady presences rather than imposing authority figures. They envisioned them as quiet mentors, people who gently guide rather than command, who offer reassurance in soft words or calm silences. These early concepts helped shape the emotional landscape of the school, making it feel like a safe haven despite the story's darker backdrop. The teacher's designs often included relaxed postures, thoughtful expressions, and soft facial lines, suggesting wisdom gained not from power, but from patient understanding. Fact 40. The emotional atmosphere of Jujutsu High was shaped by Akutami's desire to create a place where characters could breathe, rest, and allow their true feelings to surface. Early sketches of the school grounds included soft lighting, quiet hallways, and open spaces designed to reflect calm rather than intensity. Even the simplest scenes, students sharing food, sitting together, or gazing out windows, were meant to feel like gentle pauses between heavier moments. This sense of peaceful refuge helped balance the series, offering viewers a place of warmth and stillness within the broader emotional landscape. Fact 41. Yuji Itadori first emerged in Akutami's notebooks as a quiet concept, a boy whose kindness was his truest strength. Akutami didn't want a dramatic prodigy or a hardened warrior, but someone whose gentle heart remained steady even when the world around him felt heavy. Early sketches showed Yuji with soft expressions and relaxed posture, suggesting warmth rather than intensity. His design was meant to evoke the feeling of someone you could sit beside in silence, trusting his quiet presence. This emotional foundation shaped everything about him, making Yuji the series' steady pulse of compassion and resilience. Fact 42. Yuji's cheerful demeanor was inspired by people who remain warm, even when carrying private worries. Akutami wanted Yuji's kindness to feel genuine, not naive, but quietly chosen. His smile was designed as a soft comfort, the sort of expression that gently reassures without demanding attention. This emotional subtlety allowed Yuji to embody a tender strength, the kind that grows from empathy rather than power. His personality reflects the belief that gentleness can be brave and that offering warmth in difficult moments is as meaningful as any act of heroism. Yuji's early character notes centered on this heartfelt simplicity. Fact 43. Akutami chose for Yuji to possess remarkable physical ability, not to highlight dominance, but to contrast his gentle disposition. They imagined someone strong enough to lift burdens, both literal and emotional, yet humble enough to rarely mention it. This combination created a soft paradox. A character who could withstand great strain, yet cherished peaceful moments above all. Early concepts described Yuji as someone who prefers helping quietly, without recognition. His strength was never meant to overshadow his humanity. Instead, it served as a subtle metaphor for carrying the weight of others with steady, patient compassion. Fact 44. Yuji's backstory was intentionally crafted with tenderness. Akutami wanted him to come from a place of warmth, shaped by simple routines and gentle connections. Rather than giving him a dramatic or tragic beginning, they imagined a boy who developed his empathy slowly through small acts of kindness shared with those around him. This approach grounded Yuji in a sense of everyday comfort, one that makes his later journey feel emotionally poignant. His early life symbolizes the quiet beauty of ordinary moments, suggesting that strength often grows from peaceful foundations rather than extraordinary hardship. Fact 45. Yuji's relationship with his grandfather was shaped to represent a soft, passing gift of wisdom. Akutami envisioned their bond as rooted in unspoken affection, the kind that exists in shared meals, familiar silences, and the gentle presence of someone who cares deeply but speaks sparingly. This relationship became Yuji's emotional compass, a reminder of the importance of reaching out to others. Akutami wanted the grandfather's final words to feel less like a burden and more like a distant echo of hope, guiding Yuji not through obligation, but through a quietly planted seed of compassion. Fact 46. Yuji's internal conflict was carefully crafted to feel like a gentle emotional tug rather than a harsh struggle. Akutami wanted him to navigate questions of purpose and responsibility with quiet introspection, allowing moments of doubt to unfold naturally. Instead of portraying him as fearless, they envisioned someone who pauses, breathes, and reflects, letting emotions settle before moving forward. This softness gives Yuji's choices a thoughtful quality, reminding readers that courage can grow slowly, like a lantern's glow easing into the darkness. His reflections become soft, stepping stones, guiding him through uncertainty with patient sincerity. Fact 47. The symbolism behind Yuji's character revolves around the idea of a warm light shining through a heavy fog. Akutami designed him as someone who brings gentle clarity to others, not through answers, but through presence. He listens, supports, and stands nearby with steady warmth. This symbolic light was meant to contrast the story's heavier emotional themes, creating a balance between shadow and quiet radiance. Yuji represents the soft reminder that even in difficult times, kindness can create small openings of comfort, openings that help others breathe easier, even if only for a moment. Fact 48. Yuji's friendships were written to unfold with natural softness, free of dramatic fanfare. Akutami wanted every connection he formed to feel like the gradual warming of a quiet room, slow, steady, and deeply sincere. Yuji's openness helps others relax, allowing emotional honesty to surface gently. His early interactions were scripted to highlight listening rather than speaking, showing how compassion can create space for others to reveal themselves. Through these tender friendships, Yuji becomes a quiet thread, weaving people together, forming gentle bonds that help anchor the story in moments of warmth and shared humanity. Fact 49. The contrast between Yuji and Sukuna was designed as a symbolic tension between compassion and attachment. Akutami intended this duality not as a violent clash, but as an exploration of emotional opposites. Yuji embodies empathy, reaching outward, while Sukuna represents cold indifference, drawing inward. This contrast creates a soft but persistent pull within Yuji's character. The desire to hold on to humanity even when faced with vast inner darkness. The relationship becomes a reflection of internal balance, illustrating how light and shadow can coexist, shaping one's identity in subtle, deeply human ways. 7 to 50 pedestal. Yuji's design subtly evolved as the series progressed, becoming softer in expression and posture. Akutami adjusted small details, gentler eyes, smoother facial lines, relaxed shoulders, to reflect his growing emotional depth. These changes were never meant to signal power, but understanding. Yuji gradually learns to carry both sorrow and hope, and Akutami wanted that journey to appear in the quiet details of his appearance. The gentle softening of his features symbolizes an inner settling, a deeper acceptance of himself and the world around him. Through this visual evolution, Yuji becomes an even more tender and grounded presence. Fact 51. Megumi Fushiguro was first imagined as a quiet presence, someone whose thoughts ripple beneath a still surface. Akutami wanted him to feel like dusk settling over a calm landscape, restrained, introspective, and shaped by unspoken emotions. Early sketches showed him with lowered eyes and steady posture, hinting at the heaviness he carries, yet rarely names. Megumi's design was built on subtle contrast, strength wrapped gently in silence, conviction softened by uncertainty. This emotional quiet became the foundation of his character, giving him an understated warmth that deepens each time he pauses, reflects, and moves forward with quiet resolve. Fact 52: Megumi's personality was shaped around the idea of someone who protects without expecting recognition. Akutami wanted a character who offers help not through grand gestures, but through small acts of responsibility. He is someone who steps forward simply because he feels he must, even when the world feels too heavy. This sense of quiet duty gives Megumi an emotional gravity, like someone carrying a lantern through a dim path, illuminating just enough for others to walk safely. His actions come from a deeply rooted desire for fairness, shaped by a delicate mixture of empathy, sorrow, and quiet determination. Fact 53: Akutami designed Megumi's eyes to hold a soft tension, like shadows gathering beneath moonlight. They are not cold, but contemplative, carrying the faint ache of someone who thinks carefully before speaking. These eyes help convey Megumi's inner world, where competing emotions drift gently: hope, worry, responsibility, and quiet longing. The expressive subtlety in his gaze became central to his character, allowing readers to sense his thoughts even in silence. This visual detail offers a window into his heart, reflecting the tenderness he rarely voices and the quiet strength he uses to navigate the burdens resting softly on his shoulders. Fact 54: Megumi's name, which can be associated with blessing or grace, was chosen with emotional intention. Akutami wanted a name that contrasted his solemn personality, highlighting the quiet goodness he often hides. Although Megumi appears distant, his actions reflect compassion shaped by gentle principles. His name becomes a symbolic whisper, a reminder that beneath still waters lies a current of kindness, moving softly and steadily. Akutami liked the idea of a character whose outward expression differs from his inner nature, creating a layered emotional presence. Megumi's name reflects this delicate balance between restraint and the quiet warmth he carries. Fact 55: Megumi's fighting style was envisioned as a graceful extension of his inner world. Rather than explosive power, Akutami imagined movements that feel like flowing ink strokes, measured, elegant, and intentional. His technique, based on shadow manipulation, mirrors his emotional landscape: subtle, flexible, and shaped by quiet depth. Shadow represents the parts of himself he keeps hidden, while the animals he summons reflect fragments of his spirit: loyalty, resilience, intuition. This connection makes Megumi's combat feel almost meditative, as though he is guiding reflections of his heart into form, letting them support him when words cannot fully express his resolve. Fact 56: The divine dogs were among the first elements Akutami created for Megumi, symbolizing companionship, protection, and steadfast loyalty. They were designed to feel like gentle guardians, shadows that watch over him even in solitude. Their presence reflects Megumi's unspoken longing for connection, offering comfort without demanding vulnerability. Akutami wanted the dogs to mirror Megumi's emotional state: calm when he is centered, fierce when he feels threatened, and ever present as a quiet reminder that he is never truly alone. These companions carry soft symbolism, embodying the silent support Megumi rarely receives from others, but deserves deeply. Fact 57. Megumi's hair was intentionally designed with a slightly wild, upward shape, symbolizing emotional turbulence beneath controlled composure. Akutami wanted his outward appearance to subtly hint at the inner contradictions, restraint paired with restless energy. The shape also creates a soft silhouette, making him instantly recognizable even in shadow. Megumi's hair became a gentle visual metaphor, a quiet person whose emotions occasionally rise like wind-stirred grass, revealing depth beneath stillness. This detail helps express the character's hidden complexity, suggesting that even the calmest souls experience internal storms that shape their quiet strength. Fact 58. Megumi's moral compass was built around quietly questioning what is right rather than accepting simple answers. Akutami wanted him to be thoughtful, someone who lingers in uncertainty rather than rushing to judgment. This reflective nature shapes his decisions, giving him an emotional softness often overshadowed by his stoic exterior. Megumi considers consequences carefully, aware of how actions ripple outward like gentle waves. This introspective approach makes him deeply human, someone navigating shadows, not through aggression, but through quiet contemplation. His morality is not rigid, it is a tender search for balance in a world shaped by sorrow. Fact 59. Megumi's relationship with Yuji was written to grow slowly, like warmth spreading through a cold room. Akutami wanted their bond to feel authentic, built not on dramatic declarations, but on small gestures of trust. Yuji's open kindness softens Megumi's guarded nature, while Megumi's steadiness offers Yuji quiet reassurance. Their friendship becomes a gentle emotional braid, each supporting the other in subtle ways. Akutami believed that the softest bonds can be the strongest, and in this relationship, Megumi learns that connection does not require vulnerability all at once. It can unfold gradually, like morning light easing through a window. Fact 60. Megumi's loneliness was intentionally written as something tranquil rather than tragic. Akutami envisioned him as someone accustomed to solitude, finding comfort in silence even while longing for understanding. This emotional stillness gives Megumi a contemplative aura, as though he exists half between worlds, the busy reality around him and the quiet inner space where his thoughts drift. His solitude is not empty. It is filled with soft reflections, unspoken questions, and gentle memories. Through Megumi, Akutami explored the idea that loneliness can carry beauty, especially when it becomes a space where one slowly learns to know oneself. Fact 61. Nobara Kugisaki was created as a gentle rebellion against stereotypes, someone strong in spirit, yet deeply human in her quiet moments. Akutami wanted her to feel like a warm breeze passing through a sunlit room, carrying confidence without harshness. Early sketches showed a girl with steady eyes and a posture that held both grace and quiet determination. Nobara was designed to reflect the strength found in being unapologetically oneself, guided by emotions that move softly beneath her bold exterior. Through her, Akutami explored the beauty of authenticity, letting her warmth bloom through subtle gestures and quiet convictions. Fact 62. Nobara's core personality was imagined as a blend of inner resilience and gentle pride. Akutami wanted her to carry herself with a confidence shaped not by ego, but by a soft certainty in her identity. She was designed to feel like someone who has learned to stand firm without becoming rigid, someone whose honesty carries warmth rather than sharpness. Nobara speaks her truth with clarity, yet her bluntness is softened by a tender sense of care. This emotional balance makes her presence feel both grounding and uplifting, like a gentle guiding light in moments of uncertainty. Fact 63. Her design reflects the idea of elegance rooted in everyday life. Akutami wanted Nobara to have a natural beauty, not exaggerated, but expressive in small, quiet ways. Her short hair symbolizes freedom and movement, flowing easily as she walks. Her clothing was chosen to blend practicality with softness, emphasizing clean lines and gentle curvature. This simplicity allows her emotions to shine more clearly, especially through her expressive eyes. Each design choice was made to highlight her humanity, creating a character who feels effortlessly grounded, radiating a calm strength that does not need embellishment to be felt deeply. Fact 64. Nobara's signature hammer and nails were created not to appear intimidating, but to feel symbolic, tools that represent precision, focus, and a quietly steady hand. Akutami wanted her technique to mirror her emotional nature, direct, honest, and anchored in quiet intention. The act of hammering becomes a soft metaphor for shaping one's path with clarity, each strike reflecting determination rather than aggression. Her technique reveals a calm rhythm, like the steady tapping of rain on wood, reminding viewers that strength can be gentle, measured, and deeply intentional without losing any of its essence. Fact 65. Akutami built Nobara's backstory around small moments of longing, the desire for self expression, for belonging, for a life that feels authentically hers. They imagined a girl who carried emotional complexity beneath her confident exterior, shaped by quiet reflections and unspoken dreams. Her decision to leave her hometown is not driven by rebellion, but by a soft yearning for warmth and connection. Nobara's journey represents the tender courage required to step into the unknown, guided by a belief that one's heart deserves a place where it can breathe freely, surrounded by understanding and acceptance. Fact 66. Nobara's friendships were designed to blossom through gentle, natural growth. Akutami wanted her bonds with Yuji and Megumi to feel like threads woven slowly, each interaction adding warmth and familiarity. Her dynamic with them softens her sharper edges, revealing glimpses of vulnerability she rarely shares with others. In return, she brings brightness to their quieter personalities, offering affirmation through simple presence. Their trio was crafted to feel like a small, warm constellation, three stars illuminating one another not through intensity, but through the steady comfort of being seen, understood, and quietly supported. Fact 67. Akutami envisioned Nobara as someone who expresses emotion with clarity, unafraid to show joy, frustration, or affection in soft, honest ways. She does not hide behind silence, and instead, she lets her thoughts move freely, like leaves carried gently by wind. This openness helps others relax around her, creating a feeling of emotional transparency. Nobara's straightforward nature symbolizes the beauty of expressing oneself without self doubt, offering a reminder that sincerity can be soothing, that sharing one's heart, even in simple words, can be a gentle act of connection that softens the space between people. Fact 68. Her strength was always meant to be emotional first and physical second. Akutami wanted Nobara to embody quiet self respect, the sense that she moves through the world with an inner anchor, steadying herself in moments of difficulty. This emotional strength, radiates softly, influencing her posture, her gaze, and even her movements. She stands with calm certainty, shaped by the belief that every part of herself deserves to exist fully. By grounding her power in emotional balance rather than aggression, Akutami created a character who feels both inspiring and soothing, reflecting the quiet courage of embracing one's true self. Fact 69. Nobara's sense of style was inspired by the idea that beauty can be a comforting expression of identity. Akutami wanted her to find joy in simple acts of self care, choosing clothes that feel right, adjusting her hair, or appreciating small details that reflect her individuality. These gentle moments show her nurturing relationship with herself, offering glimpses of softness beneath her poised exterior. Her style becomes a quiet celebration of harmony between inner and outer worlds, reminding readers that tending to oneself can be an act of emotional grounding, helping the heart feel a little more at ease. Fact 70. Nobara's role in the story symbolizes emotional balance, someone who brings warmth to heavy moments and clarity to uncertain ones. Akutami designed her to act as a grounding presence within the trio, offering steady energy that complements Yuji's brightness and Megumi's introspection. She is like a soft, guiding breeze that keeps the group gently aligned. Through her, Akutami explores the quiet strength found in connection, the way one person's authenticity can help others breathe more easily. Nobara becomes a reminder that companionship, expressed with sincerity and quiet warmth, can illuminate even the dimmest corners of the heart. Fact 71. Satoru Gojo was conceived as a character who embodies a gentle contradiction, overwhelming power wrapped in an airy, tranquil presence. Akutami wanted him to feel like a calm sky, stretching endlessly overhead, vast, serene, and quietly luminous. Early sketches emphasized softness in his posture, a relaxed confidence expressed through loose clothing, and a drifting, almost weightless silhouette. Rather than portraying him as intimidating, Akutami sought to evoke peaceful expansiveness, the kind that feels like stepping into open air after leaving a crowded room. Through this intention, Gojo became a figure defined not by force, but by effortless serenity, such 72. Gojo's iconic blindfold originated from Akutami's desire to hide the overwhelming clarity of his eyes, not as a limitation, but as a symbolic veil over his true perception. Akutami imagined his uncovered gaze as something too bright, too honest, too revealing of the world's quiet truths. The blindfold softens this intensity, creating a gentle barrier between Gojo and the reality he sees so clearly. It also adds an air of emotional restraint, hinting that even someone powerful may choose to obscure parts of themselves. This design choice reflects the delicate balance between openness and privacy that shapes his presence. Fact 73. Gojo's personality was built around the idea of someone who laughs easily, speaks lightly, and moves as though gravity barely touches him. Akutami wanted him to feel emotionally buoyant, someone who refuses to let heaviness settle too deeply in his heart. Yet beneath this airy demeanor lies a quiet, steady care for others, expressed subtly through small gestures and gentle attentiveness. His light-heartedness becomes a soft shield, protecting both himself and those around him from the darker edges of his world. Through this layered design, Gojo becomes a figure of warmth whose levity carries hidden depth. Fact 74. The limitless technique was envisioned as a poetic expression of infinity, an ability not meant to intimidate, but to evoke the quiet awe of boundless space. Akutami imagined Gojo shaping the air around him with gentle precision, bending distance like soft fabric. This ability mirrors the serenity of vast horizons, where everything feels open and unhurried. Limitless became a symbolic extension of Gojo's personality, spacious, calm, and subtly overwhelming in its beauty. Through this design, Akutami transformed power into something contemplative, reflecting how Gojo experiences the world as a place where every moment stretches softly into possibility. Fake 75. Gojo's six eyes were created to represent heightened perception, not just of power, but of the world's delicate emotional currents. Akutami imagined these eyes as quiet windows into truths most people overlook: small movements, subtle hesitations, gentle shifts in energy. The six eyes make Gojo deeply aware of everything around him, giving him an almost meditative stillness. He sees more, feels more, understands more, and yet carries this gift with calm grace. Akutami wanted this trait to add depth rather than mystery, showing how clarity can create compassion when paired with a soft and open heart. Fact 76. Gojo's tall, slender frame was designed to enhance the feeling of effortless movement. Akutamiya wanted him to appear as though he glides, rather than steps, like a breeze drifting through a quiet corridor. This fluidity reflects the calm rhythm of his thoughts and the gentle confidence with which he approaches the world. His body language remains relaxed even in tense situations, creating a soothing contrast to the story's heavier atmosphere. Through this design, Gojo becomes a living symbol of ease, a reminder that grace can soften even the most overwhelming power into something beautifully peaceful. Fact 77. Akutami built Gojo's emotional arc around the idea of someone who hides loneliness behind gentle brightness. They imagined him as a person who loves deeply yet often feels separate from others due to his boundless abilities. This quiet isolation forms a soft shadow behind his confident laughter, adding depth to his presence. Akutami wanted readers to sense the delicate ache beneath his charm, not to evoke sadness, but to show how even the strongest characters carry private stillness within them. Through this subtle emotional layering, Gojo becomes a figure both radiant and poignantly human. Fact 78. Gojo's humor was created to act as a soft bridge between himself and those who feel intimidated by his abilities. Akutami wanted his playful remarks and casual mannerisms to gently ease tension, offering warmth in situations that might otherwise feel overwhelming. This lightheartedness becomes a form of kindness, his way of making the world feel less heavy for others. Beneath the jokes lies a steady intention to bring comfort, to reduce fear, and to help those around him find a moment of breath. His humor becomes a subtle act of care woven seamlessly into his character. Fact 79. Akutami designed Gojo's relationship with his students to reflect a gentle mentorship rooted in warmth rather than authority. He is someone who encourages growth by creating space to fail softly, to learn gradually, and to discover one's own quiet power. His guidance is patient, shaped by subtle encouragement rather than rigid instruction. Akutami wanted him to feel like a soft canopy of support, offering comfort while letting his students shine in their own ways. Through this dynamic, Gojo becomes a steady emotional presence, nurturing others with effortless compassion. Fact 80. Gojo's mythic status within the story was not meant to overshadow him, but to create a soft contrast between perception and reality. To the world, he is a towering figure, unreachable, brilliant, almost celestial. Yet Akutami wrote him as someone grounded, gentle, and quietly yearning for genuine connection. This contrast allows his character to unfold with emotional tenderness, revealing the vulnerable heart behind overwhelming ability. Akutami wanted readers to feel that even legends can hold quiet doubts, soft hopes, and the desire to be understood. Through this balance, Gojo becomes both extraordinary and deeply human. Fact 81. The curses in Jujutsu Kaisen were created to represent the soft, unspoken emotions people leave behind: lingering worry, quiet resentment, or the delicate ache of fear that settles in forgotten corners. Akutami imagined curses as gentle reflections of humanity's emotional weight, given form through accumulated feelings. Instead of designing them as purely frightening beings, Akutami wanted them to feel symbolic, shaped by the subtle whispers of everyday life. Each curse embodies an emotion that lingers too long, becoming a drifting shadow of the heart. Through this idea, the series treats curses not as monsters, but as echoes of human vulnerability. Fact 82. Akutami built the concept of curses around emotional resonance rather than violence. They envisioned each curse as carrying its own quiet story, formed from countless small moments where people felt overwhelmed or unheard. These negative emotions gently gathered, settling like dust until they took shape. This approach gave curses a soft, melancholic presence, reflecting the parts of the human experience we often avoid. Instead of making them cruel for cruelty's sake, Akutami wanted their existence to be a reminder of the delicate threads that tie emotions to the world around us, creating shapes out of feelings left unacknowledged. Fact 83. The strongest curses were designed to reflect the deeper, more enduring emotions that linger across entire societies: fear of the unknown, anxiety woven into daily life, sorrow passed quietly from one generation to another. Akutami wanted these powerful beings to carry the weight of collective feeling, appearing not as personal enemies, but as gentle metaphors for humanity's shared burdens. Their presence in the story becomes a subtle mirror, reminding readers that some emotions drift far beyond individuals, shaping the atmosphere of entire eras. Through this lens, the curses become symbols of the quiet struggles that unite all people. Fact 84. Akutami designed curse users to symbolize individuals who choose to embrace their darker feelings rather than soften or release them. Unlike sorcerers, who gently guide emotional energy into clarity, curse users let their emotions settle heavily, shaping their paths through bitterness or unresolved pain. Ikutami wanted them to feel like figures who drifted away from themselves, allowing shadows to settle too deeply into their hearts. This contrast reveals the story's emotional foundation: that the quiet handling of one's feelings can either lead to healing or create gentle distortions that ripple outward, shaping both self and surroundings. Fact 85. Mahito was created as a symbolic spirit of distorted humanity, someone who embodies the soft, fragile lines between self hatred and self discovery. Akutami imagined him as a being shaped entirely from the emotions people turn inward: doubt, self criticism, and the aching desire to understand one's place in the world. Mahito's appearance reflects this fluid uncertainty, shifting like emotions that never fully settle. Akutami designed him to explore the complexity of identity, representing the idea that understanding oneself can feel both tender and painful. Through Mahito, the story delves into the quiet, delicate space where humanity and introspection intertwine. Fact 86, Jogo, one of the early notable curses, was crafted to represent the quiet simmer of collective anger, an emotion that grows slowly, gathering warmth like embers beneath ash. Akutami wanted his presence to feel like heat, radiating through still air, not explosive, but steady and heavy. His volcanic design reflects this controlled intensity, creating a symbolic image of how anger can build quietly over time. Though formidable, Jogo's character also carries a soft thread of longing, an unspoken desire for acknowledgement that mirrors the human need to be seen, even when shaped by difficult emotions. Fact 87, Hanami was created as a gentle ode to nature's sorrow, the quiet grief that blossoms when natural beauty is harmed or overlooked. Akutami imagined Hanami as a spirit shaped by the earth itself, carrying the weight of forests, roots, and ancient growth. Their design evokes the feeling of walking through a still woodland, sensing both peace and underlying ache. Hanami's presence symbolizes the delicate balance between life and loss, reminding readers that nature carries its own emotional memory. Through this character, Akutami weaves a tender reflection on how the world breathes, grieves, and endures quietly alongside humanity. Fact 88. Dagon was envisioned as a gentle embodiment of oceanic emotion, calm, vast, and filled with unspoken depth. Akutami drew inspiration from the sea's ability to hold both serenity and sorrow, imagining Dagon as a spirit shaped by drifting tides of forgotten longing. His fluid form and water based abilities represent the soft, shifting nature of emotion, always moving, always changing. Dagon's character invites readers to consider the quiet mysteries that lie beneath calm surfaces, echoing the way emotions often hide in deeper currents. Through him, the story explores the soothing yet melancholic rhythm of the natural world. Fact 89. Akutami created Sukuna not simply as a destructive force, but as a symbolic presence shaped by emotional detachment, the cold absence of connection. Where other curses represent feelings that linger too heavily, Sukuna represents the void formed when feeling disappears entirely. His character becomes a soft study of separation, exploring what happens when someone stands completely apart from others. Akutami imagined him as a silent chasm in the emotional landscape, a reminder of how isolation can create distance even within oneself. Through Sukuna, the story contemplates the quiet consequences of severed bonds and unanchored identity. Fact 90. The dynamic between sorcerers and curses was intentionally written to reflect a gentle tension between acknowledgement and avoidance. Sorcerers confront emotional residue, curses manifest from it. Akutami wanted this relationship to feel symbolic, almost meditative, an exploration of how emotions must be recognized to be soothed. Each encounter between the two becomes a quiet moment of truth, revealing the delicate boundary between what people feel and what they hide. This soft, reflective foundation transforms the supernatural elements of the story into emotional metaphors, allowing the world of Jujutsu Kaisen to breathe with thoughtful, human warmth. Fact 91. Akutami designed the Jujutsu Kaisen power system to feel like an emotional language, something shaped not by aggression, but by the quiet inner movements of the heart. Each technique, no matter how intricate, begins with the simple idea that emotions ripple outward, influencing the world gently. Akutami wanted sorcery to feel like an extension of thought and feeling, a soft unfolding of one's inner landscape. Instead of relying on rigid structures, the system was built to flow naturally, mirroring the way emotion shifts subtly within us. Through this philosophy, Jujutsu Kaisen's power system breathes with reflective, human warmth. Fact 92. Reversed cursed energy was imagined as the tender act of transforming negativity into healing, a soft reminder that even the heaviest emotions can be guided into something restorative. Akutami wanted this concept to feel peaceful, like watching storm clouds gradually drift into clear sky. Instead of simply reversing harm, reversed energy symbolizes emotional alchemy, the ability to turn pain into compassion, sorrow into understanding. This idea deepens the emotional texture of the power system, showing how strength can emerge from gentleness. It reflects the quiet belief that healing begins with awareness, patience, and the willingness to soften one's inner storms. Fact 93. Innate techniques were designed to represent the unique emotional rhythms within each person. Akutami wanted these abilities to feel like quiet signatures, expressions of personality, memory, and subtle psychological patterns. Each technique emerges naturally, shaped by the character's deepest truths. Instead of gifting abilities at random, Akutami created them to mirror the way individuals process emotion, some with stillness, some with intensity, others through quiet observation. This intimate bond makes techniques feel personal and alive, like gentle extensions of the heart. Through innate techniques, the series highlights the beauty of individuality woven softly into supernatural form. Fact 94. Binding vows were conceived as intimate promises, emotional agreements that gain power through sincerity. Akutami intended them to reflect the quiet weight of commitment, showing how intention can shape reality when held with absolute clarity. The idea came from observing how people make small, heartfelt promises to themselves or others, carrying them gently through life. Binding vows transform this emotional truth into symbolic power, illustrating how deeply words can resonate when spoken with honesty. They are not chains but soft anchors, reminders that the heart's quiet convictions can create paths that feel both steady and meaningful. At 95, domain expansions were built around the poetic idea that each person carries a private inner world, a landscape of emotions, memories, and unspoken desires. Akutami imagined these domains as dreamlike reflections of the soul, unfolding softly when characters reveal their truest selves. Rather than being purely combative, domains symbolize honesty and vulnerability, offering a glimpse into the quiet spaces characters rarely share. The completeness of a domain represents emotional clarity, a moment where everything aligns. Through this concept, Akutami transformed power into a gentle metaphor, showing how understanding oneself can become the most luminous force of all. Back 96, simple domains were created to echo the idea that not every expression of inner truth must be overwhelming. Akutami wanted a technique that felt humble, like a quiet step toward self understanding. Simple domains act as soft protective spaces, calm circles of intention that shield the heart from intrusive emotion. Their minimalism reflects the belief that even small efforts to ground oneself can bring profound peace. By designing these modest techniques, Akutami emphasized that strength, does not always require grandeur. Sometimes, gentle boundaries are enough to keep one steady amid uncertainty. Fact 97. So, barrier techniques were imagined as delicate membranes between emotion and environment, thin, flexible boundaries that can shift with intention. Akatami viewed them as symbolic of the protective walls people build around their hearts, not out of fear, but out of the quiet need for space. These barriers soften harsh influences, creating moments of calm within overwhelming situations. Their transparent nature reflects emotional boundaries that are honest rather than isolating. Through barrier techniques, Akutami expressed the idea that protection can be gentle, formed through awareness and care rather than force. Fact 98. Cursed tools were inspired by the concept that objects can absorb the emotional residue of those who wield them. Akutami imagined these tools holding soft echoes of memory, quiet traces of past battles, hopes, and lingering intentions. Rather than being purely weapons, cursed tools symbolize continuity, carrying fragments of stories from one hand to the next. Their power reflects the emotional weight they have gathered over time, deepening their significance. Akutami crafted them to feel ancient, yet intimate, like heirlooms shaped by countless gentle touches and whispered feelings. Fact 99. Weaponized techniques were designed to reflect the delicate balance between inner emotion and outward expression. Akutami wanted attacks to feel less like bursts of violence and more like flowing streams of intention. Each movement becomes a quiet release of feeling, tension, determination, sorrow, or hope. This approach transforms combat into something contemplative, allowing scenes to breathe with emotional resonance. Instead of focusing on destruction, Akutami emphasized movement, rhythm, and presence. Through this lens, techniques become soft reflections of the heart, rippling outward like waves stirred gently by thought. Fact 100. The overall power system in Jujutsu Kaisen was shaped by Akutami's belief that emotions deserve acknowledgement. Rather than treating fear or pain as obstacles, the story integrates them gently into its foundation. Techniques arise from understanding, healing emerges from reflection, and growth unfolds through emotional honesty. Akutami wanted the supernatural aspects to feel symbolic, each rule a quiet metaphor for how feelings shape life. This design allows the world to remain grounded in human experience, flowing softly between the seen and unseen. Through this system, Jujutsu Kaisen becomes a poetic meditation on the heart's quiet complexity. Fact 101. Tokyo Jujutsu High was imagined as a gentle refuge, a quiet place tucked between shadows, offering stillness to those who walk difficult paths. Akutami envisioned the school as a sanctuary where young sorcerers could breathe, reflect, and slowly grow into themselves. Its architecture was designed with soft lines and traditional warmth, evoking temples, courtyards, and open hallways that invite calm. Akutami wanted the school to feel like a place where silence carries comfort rather than loneliness. Every corner holds a sense of history and gentle memory, creating an atmosphere where students learn not only techniques, but emotional resilience. Fact 102. Akutami designed the school's grounds to blend nature with structure, open spaces where wind drifts softly through trees, and quiet buildings where light filters warmly across wooden floors. This balance between outside and inside reflects the emotional balance sorcerers must learn. Nature represents growth, grounding, and gentle renewal. The school's architecture symbolizes discipline, study, and structure. Together, they create a peaceful rhythm, shaping a world where characters can feel both challenged and comforted. Akutami hoped viewers would sense a slow, steady harmony in the environment, as though the school itself breathes alongside its students with quiet understanding. Fact 103: the dormitories were designed to feel simple and cozy, giving each student a small space where their heart could settle after long, difficult days. Akutami wanted these rooms to hold warmth, soft lighting, familiar belongings, and gentle silence that invites rest. The personal space allows characters to reveal quieter sides of themselves, away from the responsibilities they carry. These rooms symbolize emotional refuge, a place where inner truths can unfold softly. Akutami believed that showing these private moments helps deepen the connection between viewer and character, reminding us that even those who face darkness need gentle corners to heal. Fact 104: the training fields at Tokyo Jujutsu High were created to embody the idea of safe challenge, a space where students confront their emotions at a steady and comforting pace. Akutami envisioned broad, open grounds where movements echo softly and the sky stretches wide overhead. These fields are places of growth where mistakes are met not with judgment, but with quiet encouragement. They represent the gentle truth that strength emerges gradually, shaped by practice, vulnerability, and self understanding. Through this design, Akutami invites the reader to see training not as conflict, but as a meditative unfolding of personal harmony. Fact 105: the school's library was crafted to symbolize knowledge, passed gently through generations. Akutami imagined shelves lined with weathered books, each one carrying soft echoes of past. Sorcerers, whispers of wisdom, hope, and uncertainty. The warm, quiet atmosphere of the library reflects the importance of reflection within Jujutsu Kaisen's world. It is a place where learning feels intimate, where characters pause to understand not just techniques, but themselves. The library's soft lighting and stillness were designed to encourage contemplation, allowing the past and present to meet in gentle harmony as students open pages filled with quiet insight. Fact 106: Akutami envisioned the faculty of Jujutsu High as steady, comforting presences, individuals who guide through kindness more often than command. They were created to reflect the emotional truth that mentorship is not about control, but gentle support. Each teacher carries their own burdens, yet they offer students warmth and understanding, creating a soft counterbalance to the world's darker weight. Akutami wanted their interactions to feel like quiet conversations by lantern light, calm, reassuring, and deeply human. Through this design, the teachers become anchors of emotional stability, nurturing students with patience and quiet devotion. Fact 107: the school's long hallways were designed with emptiness that feels intentional rather than eerie. Akutami wanted these corridors to reflect transitions, moments between moments, where characters walk slowly with their thoughts drifting beside them. The stillness of these hallways symbolizes the inner journeys students take as they navigate their emotions. Light pools gently along the floor, footsteps echo softly, and the quiet allows each character's worries to rise and settle. These spaces represent the pause between effort and understanding, capturing the delicate emotional rhythm that carries students through their days at Jujutsu High. Fact 108: in Akutami's early notes, Tokyo Jujutsu High was almost described like a living entity, absorbing the emotions of those who walk through it, holding their memories in gentle silence. The school becomes a quiet witness to growth, grief, laughter, and change. This subtle personification adds emotional depth to the setting, making it feel like a companion that shifts softly with its students. Akutami wanted viewers to sense that the walls, trees, and pathways remember every struggle and victory, offering a comforting backdrop that embraces each student's journey with patient understanding. Fact 109. The rituals practiced at the school were created not for formality, but for grounding, small acts meant to center the heart. Akutami imagined simple routines, quiet meditations, gentle breathing exercises, and reflective traditions that help students connect with their inner stillness. These rituals symbolize the emotional discipline needed to guide cursed energy with clarity. Rather than harsh drills, they are moments of peace woven into daily life, reminding characters to return to themselves. Akutami intended them to echo the real world truth that mindfulness, practiced slowly and sincerely, can soften even the most turbulent inner storms. Fact 110. Tokyo Jujutsu High serves as the emotional center of the story, a place where characters form bonds that stretch softly across their journeys. Akutami designed the school not just as a setting, but as a quiet foundation where friendships blossom, identities unfold, and hearts gradually open. The gentle atmosphere allows characters to discover who they are with patience and tenderness. Through shared meals, evening walks, warm conversations, and silent reflections, the school becomes a symbol of belonging. It holds the soft truth that even in a world shaped by darkness, there can be spaces filled with gentle, nurturing light. Fact 111. Mappa approached the Jujutsu Kaisen anime with the intention of preserving the quiet emotional undercurrent that Akutami wove into the manga. The studio wanted each scene to feel like a drifting breath, soft, deliberate, and filled with subtle atmosphere. Animators studied Akutami's delicate line work, focusing on how expressions shifted gently from panel to panel. Their goal was to let the story unfold with calm clarity, allowing emotional depth to guide every movement. By grounding the adaptation in stillness and reflection, Mappa ensured that even intense scenes carried a quiet rhythm, honoring the tender spirit of the original work. Fact 112. Early production meetings emphasized the importance of lighting. Mappa wanted light to feel like a soft presence, almost like another character. Animators experimented with gentle glows, diffused shadows, and warm color palettes to evoke emotional nuance. They described light as something that guides viewers quietly through each scene, settling softly over characters during reflective moments and dimming tenderly during heavier ones. This approach allowed the anime to maintain an atmosphere of drifting calm, even amid action. Through this lighting philosophy, Mappa crafted a visual language that mirrors the story's emotional landscapes with slow, soothing precision. Fact 113. Animators paid special attention to the way characters breathe, blink, and shift their posture, believing these small details reveal emotional truth. Mappa's team studied subtle real world movements to bring a sense of grounded softness to each frame. When a character pauses, their stillness is intentional, an invitation for viewers to rest within the moment. These micro expressions help maintain the gentle, contemplative tone that Akutami envisioned. By giving space for silence between lines, Mappa allowed the animation to breathe, creating scenes that feel tender and human, filled with quiet meaning even when no words are spoken. Fact 114: the anime's color design was shaped around emotional harmony, with each palette chosen to evoke softness rather than intensity. Mappa wanted colors that drift gently across the screen: deep blues for contemplation, warm golds for comfort, muted reds for lingering tension. This approach creates a visual serenity that mirrors the manga's reflective tone. Colors were never meant to overwhelm. Instead, they were selected to soothe, offering viewers a calm passage through each moment. Through this careful palette, even high energy scenes maintain a sense of emotional balance, allowing viewers to feel held gently within the unfolding story. Fact 115: background artists at Mappa crafted environments with quiet emotion, imagining each location as a space touched by memory. They added small details: soft light through windows, drifting dust motes, gentle wind through trees, to evoke an atmosphere of stillness. These backgrounds were designed to feel lived in, as though the world itself breathes alongside the characters. Akutami's original vision emphasized emotional resonance within spaces, and Mappa honored this by creating settings that whisper with subtle meaning. Each background becomes a soft stage where thoughts settle, guiding viewers deeper into the gentle mood of the story. Fact 116: the anime's pacing was shaped to allow reflective pauses between moments of intensity. Mappa wanted the story to unfold like a drifting tide, advancing slowly, retreating softly, letting emotions settle before rising again. Directors often extended quiet scenes by a few extra seconds to give viewers time to breathe. This unhurried rhythm emphasizes the emotional weight carried by the characters and honors the contemplative tone of the manga. By balancing motion with stillness, Mappa created a gentle flow that invites viewers into a peaceful state of awareness, mirroring the meditative quality of the source material. Fact 117: voice actors were encouraged to speak with emotional sincerity rather than dramatic flourish. Directors asked them to imagine each line as a soft reflection of the character's inner world, shaping their delivery with quiet warmth or gentle tension. This approach created performances that feel intimate and grounded, as though the characters are sharing their thoughts in a hushed room. Voice actors often recorded multiple variations of soft tones to find the most natural emotional shade. Through this tender vocal direction, Mappa helped bring Akutami's characters to life with authenticity, preserving their delicate emotional layers. Fact 118: sound designers approached the score with the intention of creating soft emotional resonance rather than overpowering themes. They wove gentle instrumentals beneath scenes, using airy strings, warm piano tones, and subtle ambient layers to evoke a drifting sense of calm. Even intense moments contain quiet musical undercurrents, tying the atmosphere together with soothing continuity. This careful balance allows the soundscape to feel like a gentle breath, supporting the story's emotional rhythm. The music becomes a soft thread connecting each scene, guiding viewers through the narrative with peaceful steadiness. Fact 119: Mappa's animators crafted movement with mindful delicacy, understanding that even action scenes carry emotional meaning. They studied the quiet transitions between gestures, ensuring fights flowed like slow, controlled waves rather than abrupt bursts. Every movement was anchored in intention, reflecting the character's emotional state. This approach transformed combat into a kind of moving meditation, fluid, expressive, and grounded in feeling. Even when scenes become intense, the animation retains a soft undercurrent of awareness, mirroring Akutami's belief that emotion shapes action just as deeply as technique or power. Fact 120. Throughout production, MAPPA worked closely with Akutami to honor the manga's emotional authenticity. Meetings often focused on subtle details, how a character tilts their head, how silence lingers in a room, how light settles on faces during introspective moments. Akutami offered quiet guidance, emphasizing mood over spectacle. The collaborative atmosphere created an adaptation filled with gentle respect for the source material. Each episode reflects a shared desire to maintain softness with intention, letting emotional truth guide the visuals. This partnership allowed the anime to drift gracefully between stillness and movement, capturing the series' warm, contemplative soul. Fact 121. The music of Jujutsu Kaisen was composed with the intention of guiding viewers gently through the emotional landscape of the story. Composers approached each track as a drifting atmosphere rather than a bold statement, weaving soft layers of sound that rise and fall like slow breaths. They blended delicate piano notes, warm strings, and subtle electronic textures to create a sense of floating calm, even during heavier moments. The goal was to let the music feel like an unseen companion, quietly comforting, softly illuminating, and gently carrying the heart through each scene with reflective warmth. Fact 122. Composer Hiroaki Tsutsumi described his process as listening to the silence between emotions, allowing music to emerge from those quiet spaces. He wanted every melody to hold a soft echo of the characters' inner worlds, their hopes, fears, and tenderness. Rather than overwhelming scenes, he designed each piece to rest lightly beneath the dialogue, creating a gentle emotional cushion. This approach gives the soundtrack a drifting quality, as though the music breathes with the story. Tsutsumi's sensitivity to atmosphere helped shape an auditory experience that feels intimate, soothing, and deeply attuned to the series' contemplative nature. Fact 123. Yuki Tsujimoto, another key composer for the series, focused on creating gentle transitions between musical themes. He believed that the emotional flow of Jujutsu Kaisen should feel like a soft river, steady, quiet, and always moving. His compositions often begin with simple motifs that expand gradually, mirroring the character's emotional growth. This subtle evolution in the music creates a feeling of unfolding warmth, allowing viewers to drift deeper into each moment. Tsujimoto's calm, reflective style adds a layer of serenity to the series, helping scenes settle gently into the heart long after they end. Fact 124. The vocal recordings for the anime were handled with careful attention to emotional nuance. Directors often dimmed studio lights to help voice actors enter a calmer, more introspective mindset, allowing their performances to flow naturally. Actors were encouraged to speak softly, emphasizing emotional truth over volume. Pauses, breaths, and gentle hesitations were preserved in the final recordings, giving every line a natural rhythm. This approach allowed dialogue to feel like a quiet exchange between souls rather than a performance, reinforcing the series' grounding in emotional authenticity. Fact 125. Yuji Itadori's voice actor, Junya Inoki, approached the role with a soft sensitivity. He wanted Yuji's kindness to be felt in every word, even during moments of fear or uncertainty. Inoki described Yuji's voice as a warm hand on the shoulder, steady, reassuring, and quietly hopeful. He studied Yuji's emotional arc closely, shaping his tone to reflect subtle shifts in maturity and introspection. Through this delicate performance, Inoki helped bring Yuji's gentle spirit to life, allowing audiences to connect deeply with his sincerity and unwavering compassion. Fact 126. Megumi Fushiguro's voice actor, Yuma Uchida, focused on conveying the character's quiet internal conflicts through restrained delivery. He chose to speak with low, calm tones, letting subtle inflections reveal Megumi's uncertainty or tenderness. Uchida believed Megumi's strength lay not in loud declarations, but in thoughtful silence. By holding back emotion in certain lines and allowing it to surface softly in others, he created a nuanced portrayal that mirrors Megumi's introspective nature. His performance carries a calm weight, like a whisper that lingers gently after being spoken. Fact 127. Nobara Kugisaki's voice actor, Asami Seto, approached the character with a balance of confidence and softness. She wanted Nobara's bold personality to feel grounded in genuine warmth. Rather than emphasizing intensity, Sato delivered her lines with smooth clarity, allowing Nobara's emotions to flow naturally. She believed Nobara's honesty should feel comforting rather than sharp, so she shaped her tone to reflect sincerity wrapped in subtle affection. Through this gentle strength, Sato brought a unique emotional depth to Nobara, highlighting the quiet beauty beneath her outward assertiveness. Fact 128. Satoru Gojo's voice actor, Yuichi Nakamura, sought to capture the character's effortless serenity. He delivered Gojo's lines with a relaxed, airy cadence, as though speaking from a place of calm confidence. Nakamura described Gojo's voice as cloud-like, light, drifting, and touched with playful warmth. Even in serious moments, he maintained a soft openness, suggesting a character who carries both power and gentle longing within him. His performance added a dreamlike quality to Gojo's presence, making him feel expansive, soothing, and emotionally layered. Fact 129. The Jujutsu Kaisen soundtrack became beloved worldwide for its ability to evoke quiet, emotional resonance. Fans described certain tracks as songs that feel like memories, gently touching the heart with calm familiarity. The music's soft crescendos and delicate harmonies create an atmosphere of drifting reflection, making it easy to listen to while studying, resting, or falling asleep. Its popularity reflects the series' ability to connect across cultures through shared emotional experience. The soundtrack became a gentle bridge, linking audiences through soothing melodies that echo the story's tender spirit. Back 130. Culturally, Jujutsu Kaisen resonated because it speaks softly to universal emotions, loneliness, hope, self-doubt, and connection. Its reflective tone invited viewers to explore their inner worlds with gentleness. People felt comforted by characters who navigate heavy feelings with quiet strength, reminding them that emotional honesty is a form of courage. Akutami's symbolic approach allowed the story to transcend barriers, becoming a calm companion to audiences around the world. Whether through music, animation, or character depth, the series created moments of stillness that linger gently in the heart long after the episode's end. Fact 131. Jujutsu Kaisen's legacy is rooted in the quiet, emotional honesty woven through its structure. Akutami created a world where characters are allowed to feel deeply, where their fears drift softly beneath their strengths, and where growth happens in gentle, unhurried rhythms. This emotional transparency has resonated with readers around the world who find comfort in its reflective tone. The series reminds us that even when life feels heavy, there are tender spaces where warmth lingers, conversations, memories, and quiet connections that encourage us forward. Its legacy is not loud triumph, but soft companionship that settles peacefully within the heart. Fact 132. Fans often speak about how Jujutsu Kaisen helped them through difficult times, not because of grand victories, but because of the gentle humanity in each character. Akutami's world holds room for sorrow, confusion, and uncertainty, reminding readers that these emotions are natural, not burdens to hide. Characters who struggle quietly become mirrors for those navigating similar feelings. Through their journeys, the series offers a soft reassurance that one can continue forward even when unsure, and that vulnerability is not weakness, but a quiet form of courage. This emotional resonance has become one of the series' most cherished qualities. Fact 133. The global impact of Jujutsu Kaisen grew steadily because its themes drift across cultural boundaries. Every society understands loneliness, hope, longing, and healing. Akutami's gentle exploration of these universal experiences makes the story feel like a calm, familiar room, no matter where the reader is from. The series doesn't rely on cultural spectacle, it invites people into a softly lit emotional space where characters confront their inner shadows with patience and honesty. This universal warmth helped the story become a worldwide comfort, offering quiet refuge to those who seek stillness and understanding in fiction. Fact 134. Many readers describe the series as emotionally grounding, a story that allows them to pause and breathe. The gentle pacing between intense scenes invites moments of reflection, creating a rhythm that feels almost meditative. Akutami's ability to blend tension with softness gives Jujutsu Kaisen a unique emotional shape, one that encourages stillness rather than urgency. This calming structure resonates deeply with audiences who find themselves overwhelmed by fast paced modern life. In its quietest moments, the series offers a soft reminder that slowing down is not only allowed, but necessary for the heart to settle. Fact 135. The series' influence extends beyond manga and anime, inspiring gentle waves of creativity among fans. Art is music or writing, and small tokens of appreciation crafted with care. Many express that creating fan works feels soothing, like sitting in warm lamplight while reflecting on characters who bring them comfort. In this way, Jujutsu Kaisen becomes more than a story. It becomes a shared emotional landscape where people connect through tenderness and imagination. Akutami's work has sparked countless quiet artistic conversations across the world, each one carrying fragments of the gentle spirit at the heart of the series. Fact 136. Akutami has often expressed gratitude for the community surrounding the series, humbled by the soft, heartfelt messages from readers. They view the story not as a towering creation, but as an offering, something that gently finds its place in people's lives. This humility permeates the emotional tone of the work, reminding fans that even the grandest stories are shaped by quiet intentions. Akutami's relationship with their audience feels like a peaceful exchange where creator and reader reflect warmth back toward one another, creating a cycle of mutual care that continues to ripple softly outward. Fact 137. One of the most meaningful aspects of Jujutsu Kaisen's reception is how readers express feeling less alone after engaging with the story. Characters who struggle with identity, fear, or emotional weight speak quietly to universal human experiences. Their journeys encourage introspection, allowing readers to explore their own feelings with gentleness. This quiet companionship has become one of the series' greatest gifts. It reminds people that even in moments of inner darkness, small lights remain, soft friendships, subtle affirmations, and warm memories that guide the way forward. Through this emotional clarity, the series offers a soothing balm. Fact 138. The themes of acceptance and emotional understanding within Jujutsu Kaisen continue to inspire thoughtful discussions. Fans often reflect on how the story approaches difficult emotions, not as obstacles to conquer, but as experiences to gently acknowledge. This perspective encourages a softer relationship with one's inner world, transforming vulnerability into connection. By framing fear, sorrow, and uncertainty as natural parts of life, Akutami offers readers a quiet form of emotional permission, an invitation to breathe deeply and allow feelings to exist without judgment. This compassionate tone shapes the series' ongoing influence, creating a space of gentle introspection. Fact 139. As Jujutsu Kaisen grows in popularity, its impact spreads through small, personal moments. Friends sharing favorite scenes, strangers bonding over characters, families watching episodes together before sleep. These quiet acts of connection reflect the story's core, that shared emotion can bring people closer. Akutami's world encourages stillness, allowing hearts to settle enough to recognize the warmth around them. Through conversations, memories, and subtle inspiration, the series becomes woven into the quiet fabric of everyday life. Its presence lingers gently, like a comforting echo, reminding people to notice the soft bonds that shape their days. Fact 140. The final reflection on Jujutsu Kaisen's legacy rests in the soft truth that stories shaped by emotional honesty live longest in the heart. Akutami crafted a world where characters confront shadows with patience, where light returns slowly after difficult moments, and where connection remains a guiding thread. This tender approach transforms the series into a quiet companion, something readers return to when seeking comfort or clarity. Its lasting impact lies not in spectacle, but in stillness, the way it encourages viewers to breathe, reflect, and feel gently. In this peaceful resonance, Jujutsu Kaisen finds its enduring place. Thank you, dear soul, for drifting with me through this long, quiet journey tonight. As the final echoes of these 140 soft reflections settle, I hope your breathing has grown slower, your thoughts a little lighter, and your heart a touch more at ease. Let the weight of the day loosen its hold, like leaves falling gently into still water. You've wandered through memories, emotions, and tender stories, and now you've reached a place where calm can stay with you a while. Feel the comfort of rest gathering around you, a warm hush, a gentle quiet. Let it surround you, ease you, carry you softly towards sleep. Know that you are safe here, wrapped in a quiet world made just for you, where your mind can drift freely and your body can finally rest. Thank you for spending this time with me. May your dreams be warm, may your night be peaceful, and may your heart find a soft place to settle. Good night.